Ruby pistol, the pistol of the masses. Originally a cheap Spanish copy of the Browning M1903, the French army bought these by the hundreds of thousands during World War I, and they remained the most common sidearm in 1940. It was heavy, blocky, and crude, firing the .32 ACP cartridge. While unglamorous and sometimes dangerous due to poor safety mechanisms, it was the weapon most likely to be found in the holster of a French radio operator or truck driver. Model 1892 revolver, the Saint-Étienne. This beautiful, well-made revolver was the symbol of the French officer corps. It fired the unique 8mm French ordnance round. Its most distinct feature was the cylinder, which swung out to the right side, opposite to almost every other revolver in the world. While accurate and reliable, it was underpowered compared to the German Luger or British Webley, but it served faithfully through 2 world wars. Model 1935A. A pistol ahead of its time. This was the modern standard that France tried to issue before the invasion. Designed by Charles Petter, it featured a modular fire control group that could be removed as a single unit for cleaning, a feature later copied by the famous Swiss SIG P210. It was elegant, accurate, and reliable, but hampered by the French insistence on using the weak 7.65mm long cartridge. Model 1935S, the simplified version of the 1935A. As war loomed, the French military realized the 1935A was too expensive and slow to produce. The S model, for simplifié, retained the same mechanism and caliber, but used cheaper materials and a simplified shape. Production was just ramping up when the Germans invaded, meaning many ended up in the hands of the Wehrmacht rather than French troops. Mass 38, one of the most distinctive weapons of the war. With its odd, bent receiver and high-quality machining, it looked peculiar, but was a joy to shoot. The bolt recoiled into a tube inside the stock, allowing for a compact design. It was intended for NCOs and officers, but production numbers were low in 1940. It famously appeared in the hands of the Italian partisan who executed Mussolini, showing that these rare guns found their way across Europe. Lebel Model 1886, the grandfather of modern infantry rifles. In 1886, this was the first military rifle in the world to use smokeless powder, changing warfare forever. By 1940, however, it was hopelessly outdated. It used an archaic tube magazine under the barrel, making reloading slow and difficult. Despite its age, it was still widely issued to snipers due to its accuracy and second-line troops during the Battle of France. Berthier carbine, Mousqueton, the true backbone of the French army in 1940. While the movies show the Mass 36, most French soldiers actually carried the Berthier. Originally designed as a cavalry carbine to replace the slow-loading Lebel, it used a 3-round and later 5-round N-block clip similar to the M1 Garand. It was short, handy, and had a punishing recoil, but it was reliable in the mud of the trenches and the mobile warfare of the Blitzkrieg. Berthier Rifle MTLE 1907-15, the long-length infantry version of the Berthier system. Rushed into production during World War I to arm the expanding infantry, it served alongside the carbine in World War II. It was lighter than the Lebel and faster to reload, but by 1940, its long length and bolt-action mechanism put French infantry at a disadvantage against German tactics. Many were later used by the French resistance and the pro-German Vichy militia. Mass 36, the rifle that should have saved France. Introduced in 1936, this was a thoroughly modern bolt-action rifle. It was short, durable, and featured a unique dog-leg bolt handle that brought the hand closer to the trigger for faster cycling. It had no manual safety, as French doctrine stated soldiers should only load their chamber when ready to fire. It was arguably one of the best bolt-action rifles of the war, but too few were produced before the surrender. Mass 40-44. The semi-automatic dream. France had intended to replace all bolt actions with this self-loading rifle. A few prototypes and pre-production models saw combat in 1940, but the factory was captured before mass production could begin. The design was hidden from the Germans and later surfaced as the Mass 44 and eventually the Mass 49 to arm the Free French forces during the liberation. FM 2429, the crown jewel of the French arsenal. After the failure of the Chauchat in World War I, France designed this absolute masterpiece of a light machine gun. It was reliable, accurate, and fed from a top-mounted 25-round magazine. It featured dual triggers, one for semi-auto and one for full auto. It was superior to the British Bren in reliability and served as the squad automatic that held the line during the fierce rearguard actions of Dunkirk. Rival machine gun. Primarily a fortress and tank machine gun firing the 7.5mm cartridge. It used a distinctive 150-round pan magazine that looked like a layer cake. During the phony war and the invasion, many were stripped from fortifications and tanks, fitted with improvised stocks and bipods, and used by infantry in a desperate attempt to boost firepower. Hotchkiss 1914, the veteran heavy machine gun. A rigid, strip-fed, air-cooled beast that had mown down thousands in the First World War. By 1939, it was still the standard heavy machine gun of the French army. While heavy and outdated compared to the German MG-34, its reliability was legendary. Its distinctive clack-clack-clack slow rate of fire was the heartbeat of the French defensive lines. While the French army of 1940 is often remembered for its defeat, its weapon design was often excellent and forward-thinking. Unfortunately, industrial delays and political chaos meant that the best weapons like the Mass 36 and Mass 38 were rarely available in the numbers needed to stop the German war machine.